And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals or semi-finals here of the WardiTV Monday number 83. We returned here with our best of 3 PvT matchup. Again, I hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST, that lovely break, as we've returned here with our PvZ. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is a classic. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Let's go. Let us go, as we are going to be opening up the initial workers to actually come across each other. ByuN trying to be cheeky, gets caught out, and he is forced back. ByuN asking for a re-Mappy. So for those that are curious what just happened, SCV scouts are quite rare. ByuN moved out with the SCV. The goal there was to go for an eBay block or for a proxy, one or the other. He gets scouted immediately and he gets denied. And here he's like, oh wait, he's like, what's going on? Classic, he's laughing, and ByuN jokingly asking for a re as his initial plan is deflected. So far, a better start for Classic. ByuN forced into a double gas. Ooh, double gas opener into a faster factory. With that, Classic can freely expand back at home, and ByuN is going to be the aggressor coming into the early game. Here we go. So we are going to be opening up. Oh, Cal, whip out the translations. I got you. I got you. I think Classic's asking, hey, why aren't you expanding? And then ByuN's like, Protoss OP. That's well done. Give us the camera. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Classic was actually asking where the worker went. He was like, oh, wait, where's your SCV? I think he's assuming to the worker that was on low ground that went up into the high ground. It looks like Classic did miss that. ByuN was like, oh, the workers are good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, with that, ByuN does have the faster factory. Again, later CC here from ByuN. Hello. As we're going for an earlier 1-1-1 setup. Classic just going for a standard opener back at home. The reasoning and the rationale as to why we do have a battery already in the main base is because of the double gas opener. With this could have been Reaper Hellion, and if it was Reaper Hellion, then we can hit both bases at once, so we have one battery in each base just to be safe. We can see, of course, that ByuN did not go Reaper Hellion. He's going into Reactive Marine into Mine Drop, but Classic was just playing it safe. Just playing it safe. After recognizing the double gas opener. Widow Mines are amassing for the drop, and I'm curious to see if ByuN drops with only the Widow Mines or if he does pick up his Marines as well. Usually, if that's the case, there's only one mine. True. Would have been a prioritization of Marine production. So now we're just building up. ByuN moves out with his drop. Behind this, we have Classic just scoring into 3-gate Blink into a Robo. Very safe play here at Classic. Going into his 3 gateways and Blink before third expansion. So far, very safe. And we'll see if Classic can keep up with the mine drop. ByuN moves in. Drops into the mineral line. Classic does react in time. Ooh, we'll still take a mine shot to the face. I'll take some ice to the face. We'll zone ByuN away. Oh. As ByuN, he gets zoned away and does no damage so far. The medevac barely survives, but a really rough start here for ByuN. The opener finds no damage, and behind this ByuN going for the follow-up, just going to his own triple max production, his own 3-1-1 into ByuN tank, eventually into Stim. So ByuN stuck at home. Classic able to freely expand. Now what I will say is that at least this medevac is keeping supply busy back at home. Ideally, Classic wants to move out, not to kill his opponent, but to just contain and find any damage, poke in, get a Marine here and there, get an SCV here and there. Prism now moves out. Oh, to the... no shot. That could yo, Classic, calm down. The question mark. ByuN's laughing about it. Basically, ByuN just moved in with a mine drop and he lost everything. Lost the mine drop. Ah, smooch. With that Classic, he busts into the main, gets into the mineral line. So far, no major damage, just gets one SCV, thankfully. Just the one. Ooh, as Liberator just show up in the main, not bad. 4 probes. They're catching up 4 workers. Liberator should barely get away. So ByuN making up for his lack of damage with the Widow Mines. But it's very common whenever ByuN plays for him to banter with his opponent, whether it's with Solar, Hero, Classic. Often a lot of banter. We have our Bay follow-up working towards Colossus, getting towards splash damage of choice. Classic comfortably getting into his own 3 bases. And the real question becomes, ByuN, how hard does he commit? He was waiting at home until Stim finishes, and Stim is about to finish. Stim, combat shields, reactive Viking production. ByuN does move out, and this is quite a committed push. So there's 3 tanks, his mass bio. Behind this, we should be seeing a 3rd CC, or we just pull the boys. There's a Rico back home. Classic, he will spot the main army. Oh! Does catch a Marine. Forced to pull away. It's going to be close. There's going to be no Colossus to defend. Nice force fields. It locks down a handful of Marines. And it gets, what, 3, 4, 5 Marine kills. More Zealots have arrived. Tanks are caught on siege, and ByuN is getting caught. Ooh, he's getting caught out. But that's Crazy Blink. Yeah, Crazy Blink. 2 Stalkers go down. That was not worth it for Classic. Classic will clean this up, but a messy fight here from the Brodolls. Very messy. And he actually does not get on top of the tank. No, he doesn't. Oh my god. And ByuN has done it. ByuN has done it. He has broken through. Colossus still not out. Down to 3 Stalkers, and ByuN he overwhelms. He overwhelms. He takes down every single probe. It was such a close fight as well. Very close. If we had a couple of Zealots, if Classic did not blink forward, then maybe that would have been enough. But in the end, ByuN, he has broken through. He has broken the expansion, critical damage, 8 probe kills the main army within range of the Nexus, and Classic cannot afford to lose this, and he will. As it blinks forward once again, he gets punished. Every Stalker goes down. Colossus being focus fired. Oof, does fall as well. Technically, Classic does save the expansion, but I mean, he's lost far too much, man. Lost far too much of the process, and again, it all came down to that one engagement here. If he had a couple of extra Zealots, or if he had preserved his Stalkers instead, if there was a bit of a difference here when it comes to the overall engagement, then maybe he holds, he defends, and then we have a very different outcome. ByuN looking good. At least Classic saved the expansion. True. Did save the 3rd. Did not lose it. And he's slowly rebuilding his Colossus, slowly catching back up. The issue here, though, is that it takes too long, right? It's going to take so long here to recover when it comes to the army size. ByuN, he already has an army. He already has a force to work with. ByuN does not need to wait. And he shouldn't. There's a scan. ByuN stepping in. Setting up the mines, the force fields, they look down his army. Not bad. Classic making the best out of a bad situation. Very nice force fields. Has ByuN. He's going to be some units here dropping. Does catch a couple of Stalkers. Not bad. So does trade. Trades with the Stalkers. ByuN close to getting into 150 supply. Second Starport. More reactive Viking production. ByuN does back up. And Classic double expands. Okay. Now, again, Classic still doesn't really have much of a standing army, but with the double expansions, with these bold moves here by Classic, there are ways to recover in this game. Classic is still behind, and Classic should still die. Like he should not recover in this game. But if he's left alone, if he's allowed to get these bases up and running, then Classic can rebuild. But only if ByuN is passive. Big example of that, ByuN doesn't know this base is being taken. This base should not get up and running. It should not saturate. But ByuN did retreat. Classic being active. Nice punish. Jesus, catching out 4 Vikings. Okay. 4 Vikings get caught. We're building up to 3, soon to be 4 Colossi. And with losing 4 Vikings and committing some mass Colossus here, I mean, that does work well here for Classic. It's getting his 5th operational. Prioritizing gases. Temple Archives also now done. Still a little Marauders though. Still a heavy Marauder count. Classic catching up in terms of supply. And again, all this comes down to this 5th base. It got up. No shot. ByuN still has the momentum, he still has the advantage. He's now rotating over. He is now finally checking the 5th expansion. Oh no! There we go. Does check, does confirm. He did a double take. It's like, hold on. And the base goes down. Yeah, there's no saving this. Classic gonna try. Does pull the boys. Vikings get 1. And catching out 1 Colossus so far. Zealous push too far forward, and with that, ByuN should overwhelm. Catching out the 2nd and the 3rd Colossus. Ooh, army sims in. Zealous tanking well. But surprisingly well. And it's still going to be close here. Marauders they stim forward. They're getting up the Colossi. He wants them. Oh my god, the juggling. But he breaks through. He breaks through all the Stalkers. Every Stalker goes down. Heavy losses here for Classic, losing the Mineral Land as well. There's no more Prism. No more Colossus. The Vikings, they chase him down. And Classic barely does not recover in this game. It was close though. It was disturbingly close. As this base did give Classic a lot of opportunities here, and he is still double expanding behind this as well, which is crazy. But Classic, he cannot rebuild that army. Not after losing 4 Colossus. 4 Colossus, the War Prism, the Mass Gateway army as well. Expensive losses there for Classic. And ByuN has done it. Takes down 1 base. Going for another. Catching out more expansions. You see Classic desperately going for a counterattack and trying to force ByuN back home. Catching reinforcements, but ByuN is not too far away. To get a Viking, getting on top of the Ghost as well. It's okay trades, but not quite worth it. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, Classic having a very rough start to the early game. I did point out that ByuN, he went for a very strong move out, so we saw the Classic, he was able to engage ahead of time. He had some good force fields actually looking down the army, but barely did not have enough to defend, just barely. It was a very, very close fight, and with ByuN taking that fight, I mean, he just snowballed out of control, just claimed it from there. We saw that Classic was hyper greedy afterwards, and he almost got away with it, but not quite. He still needed more time to be able to max out, and never quite got there. GG. GG, well played. With that, ByuN does take a lead in the series. Now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. As we are jumping into our next game. Why can't Classic win that final fight? If you're referring to the final engagement there, I mean, one, Classic, he was behind that game just because he had sustained heavy losses early on in reference to him losing his 2 Colossus, in reference to him losing his army. So he had to take a lot of risks, take a lot of chances. He was down in supply, down in army. He didn't have much anti-air to protect his Colossus. That's why the Vikings, they popped off. They killed 2 Colossus and the War Prism as well. So there just wasn't much support for the Colossus, and on top of that, he was forced to fight because he was behind, right? Ideally, if you're in that kind of position, you have the luxury of retreating and backing off and sacrificing your base, but in that position, because Classic was so far behind, he had to fight for the expansion as well. So even though he was down in army, and even though he didn't have the best army to work with, like, he had to fight, because, I mean, otherwise he was dead anyway. Ideally, when you're getting up to that high of a base count and that high of an army, like, you have a more diverse composition of Colossus and Storm, or Colossus and Disruptors. You have more of a buffer as well when it comes to your gateway composition. That's why we were pointing out that Classic, he wasn't and he could not max out. A lot of it came down to the early to mid game. It came down to just how much damage Classic sustained. That's why we were trying to emphasize that, like, Classic, he was down and out, and he was taking a lot of risks, a lot of chances to recover, but didn't quite get there. Didn't quite catch back up. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Protoss Pro. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Oh, once again, double gas from the beginning this time. So double gas opener out of ByuN, faster factory, delayed CC. Last game, this led into eventually a Widowmine drop. It did lead into the Widowmine drop, which wasn't quite worth it. So the Liberator did make up for that, of course. Don't get me wrong. Liberator did help out. And we'll see if he goes with the same build or if he goes into something different. Do we go into Cloak Banshee? Do we go into Reactor Reaper Hellion? Do we go early Cyclone? Early tank push? ByuN has options. ByuN has options. But yeah, that game was more or less decided when it came to that first big push at the third base of Classic. Almost got away with the mass expansions. Almost. Casito. Here we go. Here we go. We're sailing into 10,000 feet. This time a smaller map. Smaller map of the map pool. The bases are quite close together and a little bit easier to defend. This would typically favor our Protoss player building up into, you know, a 3, 4, 5 base economy and containing the Terran. But this isn't the worst map for Terran players to take a 5th base. Like, usually the 5th base is quite a difficult map, difficult base to achieve. But we have seen a lot of success here on 10,000 feet, cutting the map in half. We'll see. We shall see. First things first, Twilight Council opener at a classic. We'll keep an eye on the gateway count. We're expecting the same build as last game, 3 gate blink. Into a robo is kind of our expectations. Meanwhile, ByuN going for his own 1-1-1 once again into a Watermine drop. This time did commit a little bit harder into Reaper Hellion. If you remember, last game did go into a faster reactor into reactor marine production. So he's able to hide his initial build. The mines are building up. 2 more gates get thrown down, so 3 gate blink so far. And do we skip the robo? Oh, we go one step further. Hello, that is the 4th gateway. Okay. So classic, this time he's not going to be the defender, he's going to be the aggressor. 4 gate blink at a classic, hyper aggression. Robo's on the way into Warp Prism, into a massive move out across the map. We'll see if ByuN can recognize what's going on. We'll see if he can count those gateways. As ByuN does move out with his Reaper Hellion. He gets spotted, he gets deflected. Watermine drop into the main. No major scouting here. Gets eyes on just the tech on the first gateway. Watermines, they do deal some damage though. They deny some mining. Mining is denied. A drop into the natural. What do we see? ByuN, he spots the robo, he spots stalkers, he does not spot the extra gateways though. Yeah, not yet. And likewise, Reaper Hellion was zoned away, so we don't get eyes on the 3rd. Third base now being taken though, okay. Classic going observer first, not Warp Prism. So a bit of a wonky build here from Classic. Going into this high of a gateway count, you do typically want to be moving out, but the Widow Mines, the Liberator now as well, the Reaper Hellion has been keeping Classic busy. As he wants to push out, and now he finally does. But this is delayed, and there's no Warp Prism either, so it's a very, very light aggression here from Classic, very light. ByuN should be fine. Classic doesn't engage at a time, does speak with the Marines. ByuN attempting to move out already. Nice timing here by Classic. And nice timing. Liberator catching out 4 probes. ByuN keeps moving out, catching a Stalker. Liberator back in. And Liberator is dealt with. Decent defense here from Classic. And he's punishing this quite hard. How many Marines did he just kill? 11. 11 Marine kills. Oh! Classic overextends, losing 2 extra Stalkers. And now he has 3 threatening the main base. Classic does hold, but it was a messy defense. Was messy. Losing 5 probes, 3 Stalkers. At least he does deflect the main push, but ByuN saved all of his tanks. Saved all the tanks. Getting up to now 4 tanks. 3rd TC is on the way. Building up into the mid game. Still a very, very tense early game here for Classic and ByuN. As again, Classic, he wants to make use of the excess amount of Stalkers that he has. Needs to make use of it. Oof. Will barely delay the CC. So delays the command center. Rushing into a 4th base. Bearing in mind that ByuN is only on 2 bases. So good timing with the 4th. And the goal, the hope, is not for Classic to break ByuN, but for him to contain, right? To keep ByuN busy on 2 bases for as long as possible. Warp Prism into the main. Extra warp-ins. He wants those tanks. We'll see what he can get. It's a lot of stalkers. He does start to move in. At the same time, ByuN starts to move out. Unseats his tanks. The main base is exposed. Does catch the observer. And as ByuN moves out, Classic should be moving in. He pokes in. Yeah, pokes into the main. Nothing major. ByuN breaks out. Now we commit. Yeah, now we can commit in. He can go for the force field. Ooh, he can go for the force field. Yeah, Sentry gets dropped. We came with the production. We're holding onto that force field, and ByuN, he's forced a counterattack. He's forced into the all-in. We're going for the base trade. We're going for the base trade. Do we force with the ramp? We do. Yeah, ramp is force fielded. SCVs are going to be going down. At the same time, ByuN pushes in towards the natural. There's one close to defend. Trying to get on top of the tank. Not quite able to. ByuN breaks through. Depowers the robo. Massive pickup. Takes down the robo. Does move in. At the same time, we have the great migration. ByuN, he evacuates. Yeah, he evacuates his base. Bearing in mind, we can always recall back home, right? We can always recall to the top right. And Classic, does he get on top of the tanks? He does not. I mean, the tanks are low, but they do survive. I think engaging into 4 siege tanks is going to be so brutal here for Classic. Force shield buying some time. +2 is denied. It denies +2. Classic cleaning up the main base. Boys are pulled away. Another force field. And Classic looks like he should just recall this army. He should just recall top right. And try to save the Colossus. But you want to hold on to it, right? You don't want to use it too early. Army breaks through. ByuN is moving in. Classic tempted to dive. He has a second army coming in from behind. Does he try to sandwich? Or does he recall? Does find some SCVs. Nice damage here with the Colossus. Nice control. Tanks they get on top of the high ground. Classic's coming in. He wants to surround. And we'll see if he can. As Classic commits. But again, that's a brutal choke point. And there's a recall. Yeah, he recalls. He does recognize he cannot push up this ramp. Again, the choke point here is brutal. Recalls the safety. ByuN, he has 0 mining. He does have some SCV saved, but no economy. And GG. GG gets called. Classic has 2 bases up and running, and Classic, he will tie the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, it's quite difficult to base trade a Protoss just because that recall mechanic. Nice movement out of Classic to be able to buy time in the main base, get as much damage as possible with that Colossus, and eventually was able to recall out, save his army, and basically pin and keep ByuN trapped in the main. He was trapped in the main base. He could not break out. He had no economy himself. GG. Whew. GG, well played. As we are going to the ace match. We're going to game 3. Again, not how I assumed the game would turn out, so actually based on the openers. But sure, we committed that. And now we're jumping into game number 3. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Green Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss. Oh, the Red Protoss player himself representing Virtus Pro, forcing the ace match and bringing us all the way to the ace match. To game 3, it is a classic. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Shopify. It is a ByuN. We go again. Forced into that all-in last game, forced to counterattack across the map. And last, he was just so late to the base trade. A classic he did initiate, of course, diving into the main, camping all the production. ByuN had just too much ground to cover. Let's go. Here we go, as we are going to be opening up. For the first time this series, single gas opener racks expand out of ByuN. Classy does confirm. So we have an economic start out of our Terran player. It's going to be that economic start. At the same time, this means that Classic can cut some corners, so we can see 2-gate blink. I mean, I feel like 2-gate blink into a third base would be very greedy on Ruby Rock. We're imagining more of like a 3-gate blink opener, but we'll see. We'll see what he does go for. Classic still didn't play Thunder, referring to Storm. He has not. He has not so far in this series. He did play Storm against Solar earlier, to great effect, of course. But this game hasn't really allowed for Storm, just because of how intense it's been. Oh, hello. Speaking of intensity, ByuN does open up with the Tech Lab on the racks into Marauder, into what we see is second and soon to be a third rack. So we have a 3 racks follow-up here out of ByuN. Hyper aggression, early stim timing is going to be on the way, and it's going to be up to Classy to confirm what's going on. So very, very strong timing here. This is not an all-in, bear that in mind, but we're going to be building up into early stim, early combat shields, early concussive shell, early bio, early marine marauder. The downside of this build is that we do have a big delay on the factory and starport, which means if your opponent goes 4-gate blink, for example, getting into, say, defensive, getting into tank production and being defensive can be quite difficult for the Terran. Can be difficult. So now we have the early move out, trying to catch any stray gateway units. Remember, Classic is unaware. Oh, sorry, now he is. Pulls back the Stalker. Pylon's under fire. We go to pull the boys. Yeah, boys being pulled. The pylon's getting very low. And we come in from behind. We get on the Marine at least. And Marine goes down. Forces back the army. That's still going to be 3 probe kills. 4 probes even. Yeah, not bad. Ooh, but does trade. Yeah, does trade 1-to-1 here. So far, this has been a better trade for ByuN. And there's that follow-up. Now, what's scary here is that Classic, he's still unaware. He's aware of the initial opener, but the follow-up, this could still be 3cc, for example. It could be 3cc into a 3-rack follow-up after the 3rd command center. We could be seeing a 2-1-1 variation. We can still see a 1-1-1 after a Marauder opener as well. Classic playing it safe, getting up to 3 gateways. This prison will allow some harass, and I do think there is potential for damage here. Actually, never mind. I was going to say there's potential. There usually is pre-stim, but stim is done. Stim is complete. I mean, the Marauder count is quite low. ByuN did just lose 2 Marauders, so with a lower Marauder count Stalkers, they can excel. And here comes Classic. Classic moves out. Army's in position. Remember, stim is complete. Jesus. Does rotate into the main. Doesn't quite commit. Still threatening a dive. Behind us, going for a very delayed third expansion. Does go for the dive. Does focus on the Marauders. He gets one. He gets up to two. Not quite. Boys are being pulled. ByuN, can he make a stand? He can. He does force the army out. And Classic is not stopping. Yeah, he's not stopping. As we mentioned before, his third base is very late. He's very committed. And Classic may overwhelm. There's still only 2 Marauders. Now down to 1. Down to 0. 0 Marauders left. But the soldiers are still very low. With good enough control, Classic, he should overwhelm though. As again, the army's just so very low. He cannot push through. Does get 9 SCVs. Still good damage. Still warping in. Still not stopping. He just wants to keep going. Oh my god, the stim. The stim once again punishes. That's 2 or 3 Stalkers going down. ByuN is still holding on. This is why 4-gate Blink would have been, or is just so much stronger here against 3 maxes. As you have extra Stalkers, extra commitment, extra reinforcements. Getting earlier even. And behind this, Classic is taking up. Colossus on the way, getting to his own forge. Of his army. Ooh, Prism gets caught out. Barely gets away. Very low Prism. ByuN has defended. And the game will continue. The game does continue. Classic does at least saturate his third base, but he needs a little bit more time for the Colossus. I will say that Classic's done a great job when it comes to resetting the Marauder count. The Marauder count at this point should be much, much higher. With it being as low as it is, I believe the Colossus should be enough to defend. Ooh, as we jump into the main. Yeah, jumps into the main base. Probe's going to be going down. 8 probe kills, crazy damage. Even trading well against the Stalkers because they're so low. And Classic being torn apart. Colossus position, very nice. As we mentioned, just not enough Marauders. Colossus does defend. That's still 8 probe kills in the main. Economically, Classic is still lacking. It's still lacking, still down to 53. ByuN getting his own third, and we're getting into the early to mid game. The game is continuing. Game does continue. Behind this, we have our 4th base on the way for Classic. I would say a decently timed 4th expansion, but because of the trades that we've seen here in the early to mid game, like it's still very shaky. It's still very tense. ByuN unloads, ready for a counterattack. Classic likewise wants to be active. Scans ahead of time, sees the army is missing. And ByuN gets spotted. ByuN is spotted in time. So far spotted in time. ByuN can now finally expand. And how many tanks do we have? 4. Okay. We've got a heavy tank count. This is also where the map comes into play. If you recall, we mentioned this previously, but Ruby Rock does favor aggression, shorter rush distance by ground, open 3rd, open 4th base. ByuN moves out, and the Observer does spot the move out. Classic is aware, but he's not able to engage ahead of time. Classic is in trouble. We do favor ByuN in this fight. if he's able to siege up in time. Does siege up the army. Classic, he has to respect those siege tanks.
Base is under attack.
And speaking of tank lords going off, he does have to abandon the base. Third is going to go down. Fourth as well. Heavy losses for Classic. Heavy losses. And again, Classic just cannot engage. Not like this. Nice run by. Nice counterattack. Ooh, Colossus getting caught out. Oh no! Yeah, Classic overextends. Massive pickoff. Down to 2 Colossus. Down to 2. That's Classic. He wants to try to catch the tanks on siege. He does. Yeah, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks going to be going down. Massive catch by Classic. Ooh, ByuN caught with his pants down. He gets caught with his pants down. Ay, ByuN losing everything. And with that Classic, he just snowball out of control. He breaks out. He breaks free. There's 1 tank left. Takes down the final tank. And ByuN has been broken. Again, it was very tense. ByuN had a very nice move out. He was able to deny 2 bases. He had the better position. But he got caught on siege. He got caught on siege. He got caught mid-rotation. And that was game. That was game then and there as Classic just snowballs out of control, pushing on forward, breaks a third, and moves into the natural. ByuN trying to rebuild down to 1 tank. 1 tank in the main. Oh no mas, baby. Oh no mas. And Classic moves in. He moves in, breaks through the Marines. Breaks through the bio, dives on the final tank. And with that, GG gets called. GG gets called. Classic, he'll take game number 3 in the series, 2-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very intense final game here. Very close, very clutch, very back and forth. Again, ByuN was able to build up a terrifying army to work with, to push out across the map, to break down the expansions. Classic just could not engage until ByuN unsieged. Once ByuN unsieged, then Classic, he was able to dive, flank the army, come in from behind, get all 4 tanks, and that was the backbone of the army destroyed. I should also give credit, of course, to the Zealot run-by. That's another big factor, is if you remember, there were like 5 Zealots going for a counterattack, catching out SCVs at the 3rd base, that also delayed reinforcements from ByuN, and also did disrupt reinforcements as well, as that did disrupt the economy from the Terran player, so he had less to reinforce as well. So there were a couple of factors coming into that, of course. But again, Classic, he found his engage. Very patient play. Very, very patient play. Just waiting for his moment. GG. GG. And with that, we have our grand finals getting ready for us here. It is going to be a best of 5. Best of 5 finals between... Who exactly? Oh, okay. A best of 5 finals here between Classic and Max Packs. It is going to be a PvP. It's going to be a fast one, I'm sure. These two, they do often have a hyper aggressive games with each other. When it comes to PvP, I would say that Hero, Max Packs, and Classic, they do often trade. They do often go back and forth. In the most recent year, both Hero and Classic have been more favored over Max Packs. That's more in recent times. We have seen Max Packs try and reinvent his PvP. We'll get into it. We will get into it. As we're jumping into that final game of the broadcast. The final series.